Absolutely. We're here to lend support to our candidate for Lethbridge-West, John Middleton-Hope. He's been an amazing community leader, first as chief and then, of course, serving on council. And we're just so delighted that he is running for us. And we're looking forward to drumming up some support today. So we're out to door knock. Thought it was not going to be winter, but here we are.
All right.
Justin Sibley, Global News. When's the election going to be called? Do we know that yet?
It has to be called within 6 months of the candidate stepping down. So it has to be called before January 1st.
Is there any information on when you guys will be calling it?
Well, look, I'm kind of waiting for the leader of the official opposition. I had thought that by now, he's been elected since June. I kind of thought one of his caucus members would step down for him. And in the interest of taxpayers, it would be nice to have both of those by-elections at the same time. And so he has a few more weeks to see if one of his candidates, one of his MLAs will step up and make way for him so that he can be in the legislature. And if that doesn't happen, then we'll call the by-election.
On a different subject, the doctors' agreement. How's that coming?
Look, I mean, we're very close to getting to the finish line on that, but we have told the doctors, because we're seeing our doctors' budget increase beyond inflation plus population each year, that to invest in primary care, we need to find savings within the doctors' budget envelope. And so those conversations are ongoing. Our intention was always to bring in the new funding model in April of 2025, so there's some time for us to continue those discussions, and we're really hopeful that we'll be able to have a great model that will attract more primary care practitioners to our province.
Why don't you tell us what's so great about having John here running as ECP candidate for Lethbridge?
Oh, we're just so delighted to have someone with John's experience. We of course know that law and order and public safety is an increasing concern for people. To have somebody who has that on the ground experience of having run a police force is going to give a lot of insight into our decision making at the caucus table. And in addition to the work that he's done as a city councillor, he knows what the needs of the community are, and that will elevate those so that we can talk about it at the table. My minister, Nathan Neudorf, he's been a very strong voice as well. So having two strong voices from Lethbridge as we build out this agri-food corridor, as we know that there has to be investments in key infrastructure, having a second strong voice at the table is going to be really important.
The opposition, Middleton-Hope's opposition, has stated that they're calling on you to call the by-election, as you're stating. You're now calling on them for their leader to come forward.
It's one of two things. Like, what's going on over there? Either he doesn't want to get into the legislature, which means he doesn't take the job of leader of the opposition seriously. He has an obligation to this province to get into the legislature to debate policy. So that's one. Or he has a caucus that doesn't want to make room for him, and no one is stepping aside. So I don't know which it is, but all I'm saying is he has a few more weeks, and I hope that somebody will clear the way so that he can get into the legislature. That's the obligation that you have when you become leader of the opposition, and we are happy to call an election if they can find someone who will step down for him.
How much does the by-election cost?
I think they're about 200. I'll have to look it up to you. But look, it's a lot easier to have two by-elections at once rather than do this one and then in a couple of months do another one. And so if he wants to get into the legislature, now's the time to do it. He's got 14 MLAs in Calgary. He's got 20 MLAs in Edmonton. Surely one of them should be willing to step aside to make room for him.
I guess just on this election, Nathan, I'd like to ask you something. Sure. You've beaten Rob before. What's the trick?
Well, I think it's hard work and a positive message. We've got a leader that has stood up for Alberta. We've got a candidate that has stood up for Alberta citizens in different ways. And we're out here in the snow in the middle of October. I think we're showing that we're willing to work hard for Albertans, and I think that's the secret.
So what are you guys hearing on so far? You've been door knocking today.
Yeah.
What are you hearing about the big issues with people in West Lethbridge?
Just turn that around a little bit. Primarily healthcare, infrastructure to a certain extent, education. Fortunately, we've met with both of the school boards. We know what their issues are. The government has made a number of announcements here in regards to accelerator funding, which is going to be very helpful. We need to be working the city needs to be working with the school boards to ensure that we're well prepared when we have an opportunity to apply for additional grants for our students, our teachers, our educational assistants, and our parents, which are all part of the equation, and it's a very, very important equation for us. Healthcare, lots of folks are concerned about healthcare. But one of the things that we've been talking to them at the doors and so forth, this isn't a new system. This isn't something that occurred overnight. This is something, healthcare has been a challenge for a number of decades. The Conservative government has worked diligently with our municipality, with our municipal leaders and so forth, to ensure that we're getting the doctors that we need. We've had 61 doctors come down here in the last 2 years, 27 in primary care. We have a total of 252 doctors in the city, and that includes specialists as well. So we're working hard to ensure that our citizens have access to primary health care all across the board. And the New Democrats come at us hard on health care because they certainly can point out problems, but I don't hear any solutions. And that's what we're looking at. That's what we're about. And that's one of the reasons the Premier just mentioned about we've got Nathan Neudorf as an MLA in West Lethbridge. We have 5 MLAs that are Conservatives in southern Alberta. And we work together as a team with the legislature and with our colleagues. So it's not like I'll be the lone wolf out here. I've got lots of support.
Yeah, sorry, Danielle, I'll be here from Lethbridge Herald, by the
Yeah.
way. Sorry if I interrupted. I was talking to Robin James from Lethbridge Housing today, and you guys made a big announcement regarding no taxes for nonprofit housing or supportive housing, which she says is huge. How is there going to be pushback, do you think, from the communities in the province, or how important is this to get that supportive housing jump started in the
Look,
province?
we wanted to do everything we could to clear away the barriers to getting more affordable housing built. We've got a strategy to spend $9 billion to get 25,000 affordable housing units by 2031. And we wanted to make sure that the property taxes were not a barrier. So we've passed policy saying that we will not collect the education portion of the property tax. If a municipality wants to pass a bylaw to add the taxes, they're welcome to do that. But we thought that we would set the stage by saying that we believe if we want to get more of this type of housing built, we've got to remove all of the barriers and all of the costs and that we can. And so that's what we're doing.
With the by-election, West Lethbridge is a younger demographic. And John, not saying that you're not spring chicken, but how are you going to get that younger demographic involved and interested so that you see them come out and they do get, I guess, interested in the UCP and they have a better understanding?
Well, let me say what our general message is, and then I know John will have something more specific to say. But one thing that I think young people want is they aspirationally want to be able to own a home one day. They want to be able to have an affordable cost of living, and those are things that we have been working very hard on. We now have more housing starts that have happened in our province year over year than any other jurisdiction, and it's because people have confidence that we're going to be able to continue to attract those investments, good paying jobs, and when you get more affordable, when you get more housing built, it'll bring the price down. And so that's one part. The other part is that we know that this is a university town, University of Lethbridge, and now the newly named Polytechnic. And we're so excited about the opportunity that there is for trades education. We're investing in kids being able to go in and get careers and professions so that they can start work right away. And so I think that those are the kind of investments that young people are going to look at and be enthusiastic about.
Yeah, and to sort of dovetail on the Premier's comments, yes, absolutely, West Lethbridge, portions of West Lethbridge are certainly a younger demographic. There's lots of us over there that are a little older, but on our campaign we have quite a number of young people, all in university students, all dedicated Conservatives, all coming out, pounding the doors day in and day out in rain and shine, incredibly committed young people to this cause. And one of the things that we're finding, and I'm sure you've probably looked into it, but from a demographic perspective, Gen Z is starting out more conservative than their parents and their grandparents, so that's a good thing. And we're certainly engaging them. I have a relationship with the University of Lethbridge Students' Union, and I will go back at any time that they want to have a conversation around issues that are important to them. Things like food banks, things like transportation. These are important issues to young students, and we're more than happy to have conversations with them. I did it as a city councillor. We had Coffee with Council. You may have heard of that. We meet regularly with groups of people, and we're going to continue that as the candidate running in West Lethbridge for the UCP. We're going to continue to meet people. So it is young people, absolutely, but it's also older people. We've got, I was just telling the Premier's communications guru that we've got 9 meetings coming up with seniors facilities, and so that's also an important demographic. We can't lose sight of.
Truly, because one of the things that we had heard, John talked about the success in attracting doctors, and we heard loud and clear, if you want doctors to stay, in rural communities and mid-sized communities, you've got to train them in
Yeah.
mid-sized communities. So we'll be expanding our doctor training program.
Yeah.
30 doctors per year graduating, up to 50 doctors per year in Lethbridge and the same in Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
And it's going to become a hub for healthcare innovation, for research, and for primary care.
Right.
And I think that should give every demographic, whether it's a young family wanting to have babies or whether it's seniors, that we're investing
Yeah.
in healthcare here.
Yeah, we've got 7 grandkids, and 4 of them live here in the city. And the reason that they moved to the city was because of the opportunities that are here. So yes, we've got kids in school, we've got kids that need health care. So it's not like I'm some guy that's been parachuted in here from somewhere, like some that come in here and go door to door from Calgary. I'm here. I've been here for 22 years. Deb and I, there's my lovely wife on the end. We made a decision after I retired from policing to stay here. And we're part of the community. We're fighting for our neighbors, our friends, and our family. And that's absolutely critical to us. So this is not a fly in the ointment. This is not just somebody coming down here for a short time. We're heavily invested in this community.
We have time for a couple more questions.
Yeah. John, you said that there were 9 meetings with seniors. Did you check
Coming
that
up,
out?
yep.
So is that sort of basically a move to try to take arguably Rob's biggest strength away from him?
I don't know. Is that Rob's biggest strength? I didn't think it was.
What would you say is his biggest strength then?
I don't know, quite honestly. I know Rob from when he was on council, and I'm not sure I'm the right person to ask about Rob's strengths. But I can tell you it's important to us. We've done, the mayor and I and some of the other council members have hit 33 associations, so homeowners associations, unions. We've met with seniors facilities and so forth. They have lots of really important questions to ask. They're very insightful. It's not like when you get some snow on the top that all of a sudden you don't become insightful. You are. And they've got lots of good questions. So that's one of the reasons why I feel very comfortable being a senior. I feel very comfortable in going to the seniors facilities and talking with folks. And they provide us with the direction that we're taking. And that's important.
Just one question for Premier Danielle. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself earlier. I'm Lanny with Bridge City News. I just wanted to ask an update if there was any update on tackling Bill C-69.
There is. I mean, we sent a letter to Justin Trudeau once again saying that the revisions that they made were cosmetic and in bad faith, quite frankly. The Supreme Court told them that they cannot be legislating in provincial area of jurisdictions, and they thought by changing a couple of words that we wouldn't notice, that they hadn't changed it at all. So we did the work, we went through, we've given them draft amendments, and we've said change it, otherwise we'll see you in court again, because it certainly isn't living up to what the court told them to do, and we're prepared to fight it. Last year we had to launch a campaign to fight against net zero power regulations, not in their jurisdiction. Electricity is 100% provincial jurisdiction. And we've launched another campaign on a proposed emissions cap. Once again, they want to continue to bring through regulations that will damage our industry. We know that an emissions cap is actually a production cap, and we're just not going to stand for it. So I wish that they would collaborate with us, because the entire country benefits when Alberta does well, because we pay a lot of personal and corporate income taxes and GST that go to Ottawa so that they can help other parts of the country. And you can't do that if you end up hamstringing one of the most important industries in the country. Thanks everybody.